Hello everyone, Firemac here, and it's time for another Firemac Forum. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the Death Stranding reveal trailer. And then I'm going to do this a little more casually, but I want us to watch the trailer and we're going to discuss it. I'm not going to show you the exact trailer all the way through because, that's copyright, but we're going to be pausing and playing throughout and watching it. So basically, I'm just going to give my own analysis of it. I haven't really read anyone else's analysis, so whatever they say will be completely different from mine, and there's a good chance that they might have a better idea what they're talking about than I do, but we'll see. So we're just going to go ahead and hit play here. Also, if you don't know what Death Stranding is, it's the new game from Hideo Kojima. Alright, we're going to pause it right there. Bam. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand, and eternity in an hour. William Blake, Auguries of Innocence. To see a world in a grain of sand. So in other words, in every grain of sand, there's a world, basically. And at least that's what I'm understanding. And a heaven in a wildflower. Maybe I'm taking it too literally, because that next line is very metaphorical. And a heaven in a wildflower. So I guess the beauty of the wildflower. Hold infinity in the palm of your hand. So the idea of so many worlds could be in your hand, and eternity in an hour. The idea, that anything can last forever. I mean, the exact meaning, I don't know. I don't know who William Blake is. I don't know what Auguries of Innocence is. Probably a poem, a book, I don't know. If you know, you should tell me. I don't know what's up with this closed captioning here. This is the trailer. I got the one I'm watching is legitimately from the PlayStation website. In fact, let me just double check real fast. Okay, I'm back. It turns out that actually, before I continue, I just want to say that that apparently PlayStation doesn't have this trailer on their YouTube page. That's intriguing. That's a telling sign that maybe Death Stranding is not the official title for the video game we're gonna get. Alright, so we see a beach. Well, what could be a beach. And we got here some bones. Looks like maybe like a crustacean remains there. No, it looks like a skeleton. No crabs. They're definitely crabs. Because we got a bunch of dead crabs. What could these dead crabs represent? I wonder. Oh, I wonder. Alright, so we got this whole thing here with the footprints. The invisible footprints with the blackness. And of course, we got our naked guy here. Not Raiden, by the way. Handcuffs looks very these handcuffs here look very high tech. And then we got the little baby here, baby fetus. No, not the fetus. It's not a fetus, but it's connected to Norman Reedus here by this long tube. Who could it be? Could it be Kojima? Who knows? Head on. Maybe there's hints of what could be potentially going on with the lyrics of this song, but I don't think Kojima really thought about integrating the lyrics per se, but they probably hold some meaning. Also, if you notice here, Norman Reedus has all these handprints all over him, and he's got all of these dirt marks all over him, so he's dirty, but this suggests that there's been many people who have come in contact with this guy. And why he's naked, I'll not know. Clearly Norman Reedus. Clearly this baby means something. But what? Could this whole thing be like a metaphor for Norman Reedus is saving Kojima? This is his baby. Don't worry, Kojima, I'll save you. We'll make good games again. PT might be maybe cancelled, but we're still here. I'm still here for you. And crying, he's holding a little baby. Alright. Not too much here, just revel in the fact that, you know, he's crying, and the baby's gone. Also, I see something going on right here. I can't tell. That looks like a tattoo, maybe? Also, Kojima has said that the clue here is the dog tags. If you look closely, they're like really not dog tags, because you don't see anything written on them. As far as I know, dog tags usually don't come in that shape. They're more flat. They're flatter and stuff, so maybe this means something else entirely. Or, you know, maybe didn't have time to design dog tags to be as accurate as possible. Alright, so the baby disappeared, and now he's got like remains of blackness in his hands. So what could that mean? Because there's a really big theme with the black. What could happen here? And right here, bam. We are to think these are the baby crawling on his leg, but he's invisible. I don't know what's up with that. Does that mean they're gone? The idea, there's a lot of death. There is a lot of death. The fishes are dead, the crabs are dead. He's dead. Alright, another big clue here is this. This is where the baby was connected, but now it's gone and he's all stitched up, basically. So it's like a C-section, I guess. I mean, I'm not familiar with how C-sections are exactly, but that's where the baby was. You know, I guess that means Norman Reedus was separated from Kojima, but he's gonna go figure out what's going on. Like, where are you, Kojima? I'm coming. And so at this point, he's looking around, and not much going on here. We're getting this close-up. The sounds in the trailer here. Bam, okay. Here is the big moment that you see everything. There are whales on the beach. We're in some crazy beach. We're definitely on a beach, that's for sure. Thousands of like dead fish. You want to see dead crabs, and we got these 5 guys up here. This is like the big key moment here. Like, what could this all mean? If we wanted to make this whole analogy about, you know, Kojima leaving Konami and Kojima making his own company here, this could, like, theoretically be like PT, Silent Hills, and Human Form. You know, and all this is like, I guess, like all his people that have worked with him. You know, Kojima was the baby. Norman Reedus was the last one left standing. Guillermo del Toro is gone. And, you know, all his team and staff are dying because they're gone. PT has been cancelled. Silent Hills is no longer going to be a thing. Silent Hills forever dead. This is the wreckage of it all. And these 5 people, these are the head of Konami. You know, the bastards who did the deed. These are the 5 motherfuckers that caused Silent Hills to be cancelled and made Metal Gear Solid 5 be an incomplete story. These are the assholes, and Norman Reedus is the one who's gonna stand up and take them down. Yeah. I mean, theoretically, if you want to look at it like that, that could be one angle. But as far as like gameplay, clearly these 5 people here hold some godlike power over what's happening here. These 5 have caused the death of all these people, and there's suggested that there's probably many more people. Maybe the handprints on Norman Reedus were from these guys, or they're potentially from other people who were his comrades, potentially, or other prison mates, maybe, because this suggests that he was in a prison. He was captured, and maybe he just, okay, the prison thing. Okay, hold on, because I'm thinking, because if I go back to the original analogy with Kojima and all that, maybe the handcuff signifies, you know, Norman Reedus being, you know, locked away, not being able to work with Kojima, and he finally managed to get free and meet up with Kojima, only for it to be snatched away again. But in this, and trying to figure out what's going on, like, I guess somewhat realistically, this could mean that, you know, he escaped with his baby, which I'm assuming was either someone really close to him that meant a lot, that he was saving, but, you know, couldn't make... Oh, I just thought of something crazy. Like, what if that baby was, like, maybe his partner that was attached to this other handcuff? And maybe something happened that caused them to degenerate into a baby form, and the only way attached to Norman Reedus was by that like strange umbilical cord that they had. And then he like disappeared for like no reason. I guess I'm assuming the death from these guys. But clearly, these guys all have some sort of crazy magnitude of power that caused this death and destruction. I mean, that's what we're to assume. Otherwise, because if it's not them, what other purpose do they serve? Are they just the Watchers? Because if we continue on, because I've talked about this point of the trailer long enough. I mean, there's not much left in the trailer here. I mean, we get to this awesome soundtrack and everything, but we just got a closer look up in the sky, get a bigger view, and there's all sorts of animals here. Also, I mean, you could also draw the strange parallel, you know, the fake studio that Kojima pulled off back when Phantom Pain was not officially revealed as Metal Gear Solid, you know, Moby Dick, you know, so maybe there's some significance there. Who knows? And, I'll keep coming. Well, maybe there is some significance to the song here. I'll keep coming. Maybe that means, you know, that we keep dying. But I'll keep coming, because yeah, I'm not gonna die. Also, actually, now that I paused it here, if you like take a closer look, the whales have umbilical cords all stretching into the ocean. That's interesting. So they're all connected to something. All very connected to something. It's very interesting. And these 5, clearly like Psycho Mantis in Metal Gear Solid. And they all disappeared there. A Hideo Kojima game. And notice the motif here. There's a big motif with these strands here. I wonder if, you know, maybe if he chose the letters on purpose, maybe? I don't think so, but just going out there. A J, an A, an M, and an E. Jame? I don't know. I don't think it's... Excuse me, I don't think it means anything. Norman Reedus. Nin. In PT! It'd be really awesome if it was PT. But it's not. Death Stranding. So the significance of this title, we don't really know. But in a little bit, I'm gonna do a little bit more than just talk about this trailer. There's a little something that was tweeted out from Kojima Productions that I will read and try to make connections to what I've thought so far. But there's clearly a motif here with these strands, I guess stranding, and death. There's definitely a lot of death going on around here. Where else could we be? Who knows? Maybe somewhere in the Caribbean? I don't know. I mean, maybe there's some clues with the geological rocks there. I mean, I'm no expert, but you could probably find these kind of rocks anywhere. It's interesting. Oh, hold on. Let me go back for a second. A little further back. Are those glaciers? Are these glaciers? I think that's glaciers. I didn't really notice. I thought it was just like waves, but now that we're coming past here, it looks like it's still. So maybe we are somewhere cold. Maybe near the Antarctic, maybe near the northern hemisphere, I should say. Maybe we're like in Scotland or something. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not very good about where we could find these, but there's definitely a huge suggestion here of a cold place. And Hideo Kojima game. Norman Reedus. Script Hideo Kojima. Hitori Nojima. Producer Kojima. Kenshiro Imaizumi. Title design Kyle Cooper. Technical producer Mark Cerny. Oh, Mark Cerny's working on this. I guess he's the technical producer. I guess it's from their team up with PlayStation. I don't know these other names, unfortunately. If you guys know more, please let me know. Capture and facial solution by... Alright, so this was provided by Sony, I'm assuming. I'm assuming that's Sony Interactive Entertainment? I'm assuming that what that stands for? Visual Arts Service Group. Clearly PlayStation 4. Kojima. It's been he has gone on record and say that the character here, Luden, has nothing to do with this game. So there's that. And I think that's the end of this trailer. Yep, yeah. All right. So here we are. This is a GameSpot article that highlights what Kojima Productions Twitter said about this trailer. So I'm just gonna go ahead and read it. And here we go. In our teaser, we featured both the connecting strands of handcuffs and umbilical cords, and also stranding of whales. Of course, there are also other hints in there, the dog tags being one of these. Our game is still far from being released, but the game has already begun. What are you able to spot? So, by that, just that first bit, they clearly want us to be talking here. And you know what? Kojima, you're doing the right thing. We're talking alright. I'm sure there's plenty of other people out there saying stuff. And now I'm taking my turn and saying stuff too. The game has already begun. So, this new genre... Oh, I'm getting ahead of myself. Spoiler, he says something about a new genre later on. So, what do you guys think so far? Interesting, huh? Alright, the next bit here. In the short time after starting Koji Pro, we've been able to find people, build an environment to work, look into tech, start up a project, and finish this teaser. After making games for 30 years, I'm not worried at all. And to back us up, we've had both Mark Cerny and Kyle Cooper, and the people of Sony's Strand. So you notice the quotation Strand. Like, he's already given us clues to think about what could this all mean. This is a strand, so there's probably other strands. Like, the big theme here is strand. They definitely want us to focus on that word strand, and he's definitely using it in more than one way. You know, like a strand, like, you know, a strand of hair, and then the stranding of whales. So he's clearly using this word in like more than one definition. Of course, a strand also connects us to Norman Reedus. Thanks to this, we were able to finish the teaser in just 2.5 short months. He was kind enough to help us out and be part of the strenuous process. So this shows us that this teaser was made within very short notice, in two and a half months basically. So if the trailer debuted in June, around almost halfway into June, so that means April, March. So they started this in early March, pretty much, which is not that long after Kojima partnered up with Sony. So they've been thinking about this game for a while, and they put this teaser together because they probably didn't have time to really make any actual game assets. So, but they put together this teaser. So, how much of what we can see in the teaser is going to be in the final game? Most likely going to be very different. Alright, from the days of coin-operated games have had a continue option if you were to fail at your mission. Failing would also mean the death of your game character. In making a game, both in the story and in the game system, you depict death. However, death is about to have a new meaning. So, like I said, went back to another key word here, death. So death obviously means something different in this game. As we can see, we could probably suggest that like the baby disappearing was a death, or maybe like that one wild conclusion I drew about his partner becoming a baby, maybe that was another sense of death. You know, maybe no one really dies here, you just go back to being a baby. Maybe the death cycle just renews your life and you just become something else, or maybe you become one with the ethereal or something, because the baby also became invisible and left handprints everywhere. You left your strand, I guess, maybe that's like kind of stretching it a bit, but maybe that's where they're going with it. Still, the main parts of playing will not change. Comparing it to driving a car you're familiar with will have the same familiar feeling when accelerating or braking. It's when driving this familiar car without stress for a while that you'll first notice the difference. That's the kind of game it needs to be. So, what they're kind of suggesting is that this game's gonna feel familiar but be very different. So, I'm assuming, I want to say, probably the closest thing I can think of that can kind of be like this, can be like a game like Gone Home. Like, you're used to this whole exploring kind of thing, but in that game they use it in such a different way that most people aren't used to, so like a narrative structure. So maybe that's where he's going with this. Like, I mean, not saying he's gonna make a narrative game, but I mean, we can obviously expect some narrative here, but what I'm trying to say here is that maybe He's going to give us something we're expecting, kind of like maybe something similar to Metal Gear Solid, but it's going to play completely different, basically. That's what I'm assuming he's trying to say here. And with the whole without stress thing, I think that might be a slight hint that, you know, he was probably being stressed to finish Metal Gear Solid 5, which, again, I don't want to dwell on it too much, but it's pretty obvious Metal Gear Solid 5 suffered from being rushed because the story was far from finished. If you guys don't know about that, I'm sorry, but, you know, basically Metal Gear Solid 5 could have had an amazing story, but it was basically like only half done, maybe only a third done. It's really disappointing because that game was so good. Alright, Kobo Abe, one of my favorite writers, wrote a novella called Rope, which I read in high school. This book talks about the first inventions of the human race, the stick and the rope. Now these are two key words, the stick and rope, which he'll explain here. The stick helped man keep distance from threats. The stick helped ape evolve into man. On the other hand, the rope helps us capture and bind important things to us. Most online games will have you fight with a stick. This might also be said about social networks. Interesting. Stick and rope are two very important keywords. You'll be using the stick in our new game, but that is not all. So by saying stick and how he said it's been used in other games, that's to suggest we'll have a gun of some sort or some sort of weapon in our hands. I mean, I guess that's where the dog tags come in. That'll be our weapon, maybe? Maybe those things house our weapons, or maybe it's just to let us know that we're a soldier, so we're definitely gonna use guns. So there's that, I'm assuming. Alright, let me continue here. You'll be using the stick in our new game, but that is not all. How will you be able to use the rope to connect people worldwide? Will you be able to use both tools? The game will have you playing with tools and think about these points. So this suggests that this game might be very connected to the internet. They mentioned social networks, so maybe they're suggesting that, you know, much like how PT, we all had to come together to figure out the big cryptic puzzle, maybe he's suggesting to expand upon this idea and make the gameplay much more intertwined. But the way he phrases it here could suggest that we don't have to rely on it, that we could use the stick to just play the game, or if we really wanted to, we could use the rope. Or maybe he just, and very figuratively saying that, you know, the stick is just you playing a game, don't go online for like looking at guides, and maybe the rope is just like, hey, like, I give up, I'm gonna go online and look up the guides. Maybe that's what it means. Who knows? And then finally, the last bit here. With technology advancing as far as it has, dividing games into genres like action or RPG doesn't sound too forward-thinking, but Death Stranding should be a new genre. Alright, this says a couple things, that this could potentially be an action and an RPG game, but he expects this to be a new genre. So maybe, with the earlier statement about the car, he's suggesting that this game is going to feel like an action RPG, but it's going to play very differently. So maybe this is more like an MMORPG? Who knows? Also, if you recall, long ago he said that his new game would appeal to Uncharted and the Division fans. And the Division pretty much plays like a pseudo MMO kind of thing, so maybe that's where the RPG comes in action, and I guess Uncharted in the form of narrative. So maybe this might be the game he was talking about after all. So I mean, I could kind of see where this all goes. But it's interesting, where could this all actually lead us? How does the death and the stranding and the stick and the rope all come together? I really don't have a theory for you guys. I just kind of wanted to sit here and talk about it, like, and I'll kind of give my analysis as I watch it. Like, I already had some ideas in my head, but I didn't quite, like, you know, actually come down to a consensus, a full theory of what could potentially be here. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Like, what are your thoughts about this? Because this is very interesting. I love what Kojima does. He thinks outside the box. He definitely goes out there to get us talking, and I really enjoy that. So this whole rope thing, I'm assuming that's with the umbilical cords. Maybe that's suggesting we're all connected to the ocean, you know, the big sea of life. Maybe that's supposed to be the internet. You know, maybe that's what he's talking about. Maybe that's his whole theory, that we're all connected to this global scale network, basically, and we're all gonna talk, and all the death means nothing, because we continue on in our personas on internet, because all of that is embedded forever on internet. Maybe that's what that's about. And those big five guys, maybe they're just like corporate or something, I don't know. The five mysterious figures are like the biggest thing. Like, they're supposed to be enemies, but who knows? This is very interesting. I really want to know what you guys say, because I find this whole trailer intriguing, and I love what I've seen so far. What do you guys think? I mean, I think I've been pretty sure I've been blabbing long enough here. This has been a special episode of Firemac Forum, and this is Firemac saying bye-bye. See you next time.
Yeah, man, Sony!
Grand Theft Auto is Sony's treasure.
I don't care. You're gonna get steal Red Redemption just like we stole Call of Duty, man.
No.
Hell yeah!
Final Fantasy. Oh!